Hello, my name is Justin Decloux.
That's right. It's Shocktober on the Important Cinema Club. The Phantom of the Opera, the spookiest story of all.
I mean, we keep going back to it, so there's clearly some terrifying power there.
Hang on, I can do some other monster voices. Freddy Krueger. Hey, bitch.
Oh, wow. I'm Jason. Yeah, it's like they're all in the room with you.
I want to suck your blood. You see, Justin and I off mic have been trying to come up with some new Halloween sound effects we can do because we've been doing the same ones for about 10 years. Mm-hmm. But it's hard because we've mastered the ones that human voices can do.
Mastered. I'm doing air quotes in the air.
Excuse me, you think I haven't mastered it? Listen to this. That's the sound of
a door just opened in the room.
That's a creaking door. Yeah.
And we mentioned all the characters that are in franchises. Freddy, Dracula.
But what about the scariest character of all, Death itself?
Oh, that's right. We are talking about Final Destination.
It's a time-honored Shocktober tradition on the Important Cinema Club to talk about a franchise. Mm-hmm. And Final Destination has been going on since the year 2000. Just this year, the 6th entry in the franchise.
After a long break, though.
After a long break. The 6th entry in the franchise became an unlikely blockbuster.
The biggest film of the series as far as money-making goes.
We're going to talk about our relationship with this franchise. In my case, virtually none. And we're going to talk about why we think it has endured with very little modification over the years, I would say.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest stumbling blocks when I just watch them all in a row, which is that when you talk about other classic horror franchises, they're constantly trying to change it or add a new element, and Final Destination may be one of the rare ones that has as big a profile as it does that has never really tried to do anything new.
That's true. I mean, something like the Friday the 13th series, or the Frankenstein series, the Universal Frankenstein series, at about the midpoint of the franchise, it starts getting a little goofy. It starts being like, what's a new gimmick we can do? Does Jason go to Manhattan this time? No, he stays on the boat, but never mind.
Does Freddy have a dream child of some kind?
That's right. Does Leprechaun go to space?
Yes. Does Leprechaun go back to the hood?
But really, this series, it is somewhat interconnected, like the Saw series. The Saw series is a little ridiculous. Like its version of this was to get more and more like interconnected to like ridiculous extremes.
Love that about the Saw series.
And while Final Destination does have like a universe, it's never gone quite as rococo as Saw has.
And I think that it just comes down to the basic premise and that the undefinable nature of what it is. There's nothing to fight in this situation, that anything can happen. And so these films have settled on a kind of grim fatalism that the joy is seeing how things will play out, not the end result of that. It's about the journey, not the destination.
The run of this series is sort of parallel to the similarly themed Saw series, but the tone is slightly different. It's more, I would say, joyous. Maybe that's too heavy a word. It's a little lighter. It's
flatterific, if you will.
Yeah, it's much more Herschel Gordon Lewis.
Now, some of the Saw movies, once you're getting into, let me check my notes, Saw 7, get into that, but it takes a while. And that Saw is mostly interested in the cruelty and the pain that is being inflicted on the characters, that like post 9/11 torture porn era of filmmaking. And I would say that the Final Destination films are kind of running parallel in that and reflecting it in ways that only become clear when I watch them now. And I'm like, oh, this is what they're speaking to. And while like, you know, the first two sets things up, it kind of like pushes them in the sequels into different directions that, you know, worked sometimes for the audiences and sometimes did not.
I would say Saw and Final Destination, the popularity of both of them is partly because, you know, they depict, in the case of Saw, the way that, you know, like what the human body looks like when it's going through this. You know, what would you do in this situation? What would your arm look like if it's breaking? As ugly as it is, that's like a natural human thing to be curious about. Final Destination, which is just as splattery as Saw is very much about like death is all around us. All these appliances we use could kill us if something goes slightly wrong. And there's a similarly like natural human fascination in that. Like, what would it be like if like the lawnmower went haywire and tore my face off, you know?
And do you remember if you saw the first Final Destination when it came out? So we would have been too young to see it in theaters.
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked because I've seen the first Final Destination 3 times now. I saw it when I was in undergrad, and I saw it 2 or 3 years ago, and I saw it this week. I did not remember a frame of it.
Wow.
I don't know. I usually have a good memory for movies. I didn't remember the whole opening airplane thing, the famous airplane thing. Didn't remember anything.
Maybe because you were too scared and you blanked it out of your memory.
Probably. I mean, I would like to get on a plane again at some point in the future. I can't be thinking about this.
You got eternal sunshine,
Yeah.
and that's how you were able to live your life.
What's your relationship with the Final Destination
So
series?
I remember probably watching it in my living room in Castleman as a teenager, definitely getting the DVD, probably scrounging up the money from my friends, which is how I rented a lot of DVDs back in the day. It's like, let's all chip in and then we can get one. That's how poor we were.
And at this point, were you like a gore hound? Were you a horror fan?
2000? Yeah.
Because I would say in my teenage years, I was at best a casual horror fan.
Yeah. Was I a gorehound? Probably by this point.
I wasn't really following. I saw some of the Saw movies, but I wasn't like religiously following all these like the post-Scream, franchises.
Well, in the 2000s, if you're a horror fan, like the big releases are offering you nothing. Like the Jasons, the Freddys, they're gone. No new movies are coming out except maybe Jason X that kind of like stumbles into theater. So Final Destination felt different, that it was like a high concept horror thriller that like promised death in creative ways.
I mean, it was part of the post-Scream wave where it was like a
self-aware,
high concept, self-aware, like kind of witty horror movie with a lot of like young up and coming actors with their frosted tips and their cool fashions and stuff, and their Tiger Beat magazine photo shoots and all that. It had a kind of glossy sheen.
It's definitely reflective of the kind of like, the 2000 style. Well, the first one is kind of there, but I think that because Glenn Morgan and James Wan are making it, Glenn Morgan co-writing it, James Wan is directing it, both of them come from like the world of the X-Files. And
that's what this was originally.
It was a spec script.
Yeah.
And it feels like they changed nothing. There's even a Mulder and Scully duo in this that you can see where that structure would have been hung on if it had been just like a 41-minute episode. One of the detectives played, of course, by Daniel Roebuck, favorite of the podcast.
Daniel Roebuck, the god, best known, to me at least, for playing Jay Leno in The Late Shift, but also Grandpa Munster
in The Munsters.
The Munsters,
yes. And so I remember seeing this movie, and I definitely liked it when it came out. This was also the era of the New Line Cinema Infinifilm DVD releases, so there was a lot to go through, special features-wise, in the weekend that I would have had this film.
Guys, if you're young, you don't understand. You know how you got a movie? Well, what if you got more than just the movie? What if the movie was annotated with like another hour and a half of like mini documentaries? Like a pop-up would come on screen and you click on it, and then you get to see Mike Myers behind the scenes of Goldmember doing some shtick.
So you can see like the magic happen, kind of like the Beatles documentary where you see them like figuring out the songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's like, and then Fat Bastard would be like, I want to eat a monkey? No. An anaconda? Wait, I got it. A baby. I want to eat a baby. And it's like you're watching the magic happen.
History was made, yeah. Really, the last DVD to take full advantage of this was Cop Out with its legendary maximum comedy mode. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you multiply 0 by 0, you still get 0. Anyway, so Final Destination, I remember liking it. And watching it now, I can see more of its, and this sounds ridiculous to say, but classical influences that I was looking to see if James Wan has said this. I mean, it's in the text of the film that he is clearly inspired by Val Lewton movies.
Well, yeah, so there's a character named Valerie Lewton.
Yeah.
And like Val Lewton, there's a kind of, I mean, in no way is this movie minimalist, but it's like Val Lewton. It's like, what if the real horror was in the shadows? Yeah. What if there was no monster?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like everywhere. And it's also a paranoia and, more of a psychological thing before it gets to the payoffs that happen later in the film.
And by the way, in addition to naming a character after Val Lewton, there were also characters named Hitchcock, Browning, Murnau, Shrek, a couple others in there I think I'm forgetting.
So all the classics, but not any Romeros or Hoopers or anything like that.
Yeah.
So you can see where Wong is taking his influences from. And I love the way that the camera in this one is always kind of going through the scene, like you're seeing everything. It wants you to take it all in.
Well, yeah, I'll say that all of these movies are very good at visual storytelling, So like all the set pieces, and these movies are like porn in the sense that it's like, you know, five or six sex scenes separated by plot. And you're there for the sex scenes, which in this case are Rube Goldberg murder scenes. And those Rube Goldberg murder scenes, you know, the way that the camera and the editing sort of establishes the space and has you follow the sort of cause and effect of everything that's happening, I think is very elegantly done in all of these movies.
I would not agree with that in all of these movies.
Well, sorry, all four that I watched.
Okay.
I watched 1, 2, and then 5 and 6.
Yeah.
And then I think you saw all of them.
Yes, I did. So the first one, definitely the most classical out of all of these. And that, is it the one that I enjoyed the most? It feels the one that is the most kind of like well-rounded, even though I think like all of these films, it doesn't have a climax.
Okay.
Because the films cannot figure out how do you solve this short of killing everyone?
All right, so here's the story of 2000's Final Destination.
For all you 12-year-olds in the audience listening to this.
That's right. You know, the class, this high school class is getting on board an airplane. They're going off for their senior trip. Did you have a senior trip?
No, I'm not made of money. Yeah. Actually, some people in my class did. They went to France. I could not afford that.
You know what? Actually, when I was in high school, there was a trip to Costa Rica, and I didn't go. My parents wouldn't let me, and I don't care at all. I have no regret.
So you just sat in the basement rewatching The Last Cancun over and over again, being like, "This could have been me. This could have been me."
I don't think I even thought about it at the time. I was
really?
I don't need to go.
Did you ask? You're like, "Can I go to this?" They're like, "No." No. All right.
Basically, that was basically how it went.
Okay. I didn't even ask my mom if I could go to France because I know the answer would probably be no.
Yeah.
So, didn't happen.
But anyway, so the whole class is getting on board this plane, and there's one guy.
Devon Sawa of Casper and Idle Hands fame.
That's right.
And The Fanatic. How could I forget The Fanatic?
Oh, my God. A masterpiece. He gets a vision, like Nicolas Cage in Next, of a couple minutes in the future.
Wait. Isn't it like Nicolas Cage in that Alex Proyas film, too?
Knowing?
Yeah. Doesn't he know what's going to happen? Is it the same character as Next?
I can't remember what Knowing's about, honestly.
It's about the end of the world.
Well, I know that.
And it's about being the next Stanley Kubrick, as Roger Ebert said.
Can't remember what his power was.
Yeah. I think it was probably had something to do with knowing.
I just remember there's that great scene where he Googles what 9/11 is. Right.
I mean, let's be serious for a moment. This film takes place before 9/11, the first Final Destination.
And nobody predicts it.
That's the real specter going on in this.
Yeah.
So Devon Sawa has his vision, freaks out on the plane.
The vision is that the plane is gonna explode in midair.
Yeah.
And so he freaks out. He says, "We have to get off this plane." You know, him and 5 or 6 other people do get off the plane.
Some more famous than others.
Yeah. There's Stifler.
Yep, that's right.
I know what his real name is, but I'm gonna call him Stifler.
There's also Ali Larder, who we know was in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is like a yearbook of 2001 era pop culture. You know?
Right.
Now that's what I call movies of that year. Anyway, they're all like, "Why did you pull us off this plane?" And then in the background,
boom, the plane explodes.
And this is one of the competitive advantages of this series. You get to see a vision of the future where you get to see everyone die. Mm-hmm. And then a few minutes later, you get to see another version of that event while mostly everyone dies.
Yeah, it usually happens in the background.
In a somewhat different way.
So because of that being the structure of every single one of these films,
they all open with a big instigating catastrophe.
This creates a problem in that all the characters know they should have died. So that when the stuff is presented to them, there is a kind of cruelty in that they're like, it's coming. Oftentimes, they don't believe it as the movies go on and they just die off to the side. But a lot of the times there's like that specter over all of it, that they are already affected by what's going on. And
right. So the metaphysics of the series is that because this one central character has had this vision, he's cheated death. He or she has cheated death, and death doesn't like that. Mm-hmm. This was a rupture in the fabric of reality.
Of course, because I watch all 6 movies in one go, well, not one go, over many days, I have the classic, like, but how do the cars work? Like the questions that everyone asked all the time.
Well, yeah. Well,
like, who is giving this vision? Is it death? Because death is bored and it wants to give people like the opportunity to die in very kind of like Rube Goldbergian ways.
So this is very important. So if like 5 or 6 people who are supposed to die in the accident are pulled out, they will still die.
Yes.
Because death has to settle the score.
But we're all going to die at the end of the day.
Yes, and that's a very important point. But these people are going to die sooner than you and me.
Yeah.
And they're going to die in the order that they were supposed to in that alternate reality.
I think what Final Destination 1 does very well is that it allows the characters to kind of figure out what's going on. Like Devon Sawa is figuring it out. He maybe makes a jump a little too quickly of like, wait, this is how it exploded on the plane. So this is the order that we're going to go in.
Well, of the 4 that I watched, this is the best one. And I think it's largely because of the novelty. It's like you're seeing this premise for the first time.
But it's building up.
It does escalate. That's true. And like I'm with the story as it's going along.
And you can feel it being an episode of a TV series because it kind of has a 5-act structure. And every time I watch it, I'm like, oh yeah, there's a weird time jump where suddenly Devon Sawa is living in a cabin trying not to be killed by death that's all around him.
I will say that yes, I do have some logical issues. I am gonna prod at this a little bit. I'm gonna do the thing.
Yep.
So
like, are the cars, if you open them up, the guts fall out in Pixar's Cars?
Well, yeah, it's just like, okay, let's say I get cancer.
Yes.
And then I get chemotherapy and I beat the cancer. Is death gonna strike back at me for that? Like, have I ruined the natural course of reality?
No, it's only if you act upon a vision that you receive.
Okay.
Now, where is this vision coming from? Is it because we're all unstuck in time and time is happening simultaneously and you see it in that way? Maybe. And so
But what about no fate but what we make?
Yeah. And is death, well, that's what I don't like about these movies.
Yeah.
And I'll get into this, is that like, also, death seems to take great joy in killing these people because a lot of the stuff that we see is not seen by any other characters. It is only seen by death and us, the viewer.
I think if I have one actual real problem with this series, is this a real problem? I don't know.
No.
Okay, it's not. My biggest problem with the series is that death is putting its thumb on the scale too much.
Yes, I agree.
So for example, I love when, a bottle of water tips over and it hits the electric socket, which causes a fan to turn on, which causes this, causes that, and then all of a sudden somebody's dead. I love that. But then when death itself is like, oh, I'm shutting the vents now.
Yeah.
That's
fair.
cheating.
Yes.
That's cheating.
Some of the time, like in the later movies, death doesn't even seem to be doing anything. It's just like bad construction.
Well, I like that. I like when death doesn't directly interfere because then there's a little ambiguity about like,
my favorite
is it death or is it
when a character does something that then triggers something else. For example, in the second one where he runs out and the pigeons go up, which then make the big piece of glass fall. That is the character's actions that do things.
That's great.
But it doesn't always have to follow that rule. I think the first one also plays it, the death is almost kind of like cruel or inventive based on where it takes place in the narrative. So like the first death is the kid who gets strangled by the thing that goes around his neck.
Yeah.
And that's very elaborate. And it's also in a way to make it look like a suicide.
That's another one where death directly intervenes.
Yes. Like there's no way out of it.
Yeah. Whereas there are other ones, I think, where it's more ambiguous how much death is directly involved.
Which is like
death, capital D.
Which is the question of like, why rather than just like make a truck crash into their house and they die or lightning strikes them? I mean, the answer would be there would be no movie at that point. But listen, if I'm sitting through all these, I got to ask these questions.
Yeah.
Of like, is there someone behind the scenes and death going like, hey, look what I did there. Look how complicated this is. And the friend's like, yeah, that's cool, I guess. Like, you didn't have to go to that length.
Now, often when we're doing this podcast and we're watching, a lot of a filmmaker's body of work in a row, I think to myself, these movies aren't meant to be watched this way. You need some space between this. And I've never felt that more acutely than this week.
Well, okay.
Because I saw... And hey, these movies are okay.
Yeah.
But they are the same movie.
So the first one, love the little build up to it. I wonder if the ending is a reshoot because it kind of feels like it, where he goes to one of the characters' house and saves her from an electric power line. Like, it doesn't really feel climactic that much. And then I really like the ending of the first one because like a character gets saved and things are stated, but then things are realized and death is coming, but you do not see it happen on screen. So it's kind of like, like a joke. Every other movie in this series almost ends with the characters dying on screen. And it sucks, and it makes me feel bad.
That's interesting.
Yes.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. I have mixed feelings about that.
So I'm probably going to say this multiple times before we move off the subject, but the fatalism of this series bums me out. I don't find it that fun. I don't find characters that are... There's such a weird push and pull to horror films, right? There needs to be a little hope. If there is no hope... I'm like, there's no suspense. Why am I watching?
Okay, I agree with that completely.
Yes.
There is no suspense in these movies.
No, other than how will the person die?
Yeah,
that is the only suspense.
There is a degree of suspense, like when the set piece is starting. When the chain of events is starting, and the only suspense, quote unquote, is does this object kill him or does that object kill him?
Yes.
And that's not a lot of suspense.
Well, so the second one...
And after the second one, there's never any doubt that all these characters are going to die.
Yes.
There's never going to be a final girl.
No.
And who's the final girl?
That's a big problem with these movies.
I agree.
For 6 movies, it is wild that none of them have someone you think is the protagonist that gets killed psycho-style 30 minutes in the movie.
Yeah.
None of them do that. Why? And it's because they don't want to fuss with the structure of these films.
Well, and also some of the pleasure of these movies, for those who find them pleasurable, is like the death.
Yeah.
And
But
like
you can still have death, but just have the narrative go in ways that you wouldn't expect.
But I think, I think that some people going to see these, like when the protagonist dies horribly in the last scene,
Yeah.
Which invariably happens after the first one, I think a lot of people get the satisfaction of like, can't outrun death, you know? Whereas I watch...
Cool. We're all going to die.
Yeah.
We don't need to see that.
Whereas I watch it and I think, oh, really? Couldn't someone have survived?
Yes. If you want to say it's like, oh, we all die. Yeah, we do. But there's also moments in joy if you survive longer. So like, you want to see these characters live.
Also, these aren't really about how we all die.
No.
You know?
It's about look at what gruesome stuff can be done to the body.
All right, I'm jumping ahead a bit, but in Tony Todd's last appearance in this series...
Best scene in the movie.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Tony Todd is the one recurring character in all these films.
What's weird about it is if you watch the final scene of Tony Todd in these films and you only saw this scene before seeing anything else, you're like, oh, he must be the guy that goes around helping people when the Final Destinations happen. You are incorrect.
Far from it. He is a mortician.
Who's like, everybody dies.
He's got one scene in every movie. Where,
not number 3.
not number 3, okay.
Yeah.
He's got one scene in most movies where the characters go to him and say, Mr. Todd, we understand you have wisdom. And his wisdom is, yeah, buckle up. Life's a piece of shit. We're all going to die.
Like, considering that it's revealed that he was saved, wouldn't you want to, I don't know, offer some advice or something like that?
And yeah, who is this guy? He goes to the same medical school as like the doctor from Faces of Death, I think.
Exactly.
You know?
Anyway, but the last scene in the final movie.
The last scene in the final movie is like, okay, and this is real spoiler territory, but who cares?
No.
In the most recent Final Destination, we find out that so there was a first incident.
Yes.
You know, a first reality rupturing thing that happened in the 60s. And he was a little kid at this event. And he's the last person who is still living from this. But now he's going to die because he has cancer or something.
Well, and he also knows that he has been living this long because in the chain of people that were going to die in the order of that original catastrophe that never happened, he would have been like one of the last to die.
Yeah. So now he's like 75 and he's got cancer, and I think he's won.
He has. Yeah. And he's like, live life to the fullest. And it's like, okay, yeah, you can say that, but these people are going to die within the next hour of this movie. It doesn't mean anything. If the film internalized that in some way and the characters, I don't know, figured something out, but these movies are, they don't want to allow the character to do that. So let's jump back to the second one where we got David R. Ellis.
Also, how come he gets to have cancer, but everyone else has to die with like a fucking torpedo blowing their head off or like a car crashing into them? And he gets to have a dignified old man's death.
And he just laughed at everyone that came by him.
Yeah, because he won.
Yeah.
He actually, I think his cancer is unrelated to this.
No,
I think death spared him.
Not in the context of real life.
In real life, Tony Todd passed away.
Yes.
Death got him.
Yes. I like how we're saying Tony Todd. We mean his character in the movie, which isn't it like R. Corpsley or something like that? They say it in this film.
Yeah. He's the doctor from Faces of Death.
The movie that every listener of this podcast knows that clicked on for a Final Destination episode.
That's right. Everyone loves Faces of Death.
So the second one, David R. Ellis, stunt coordinator. Second unit director. This is the guy that you hire if what you want to focus on is the punchline of these gags. He has no real interest in like, the weird paranoia. It's around every corner.
He's not thinking about Val Lewton.
No, absolutely not.
I will say Final Destination 2, very professional job.
Yes.
Now, this is the
not
one...
Not showy.
So this is the one that opens with the big truck that's transporting logs on the highway.
The iconic scene.
The most famous...
But you watch the scene. Why is it so impactful? Because the guy directing this is a second unit director. So you see cars explode for real. You see like... I think you see something like the log slams into a car for real.
Well, I also think it does the Hitchcock bomb under the table thing very well, where it's like you see the truck with the logs and you immediately know, oh, I know what's going to happen. The logs are going to come loose. And then his camera shows you all these different cars, all these different characters, and you're thinking all these people are going to die.
Yeah.
In this order. And yeah, Bomb under the table. Very effective.
Very effective.
And then you see it happen.
And then the movie goes on, and the gags are all about misdirects. That you think this is going to happen, but then this happens. That is not what happens in the first one. In the first one, it's like, oh, we're seeing these Rube Goldbergian things, and then finally there's a payoff. In this one, it's like, oh, this kid is at the dentist, and what's going to happen? Nothing. He gets out in a giant plate of glass, and I should point out, he's a nice little dummy practical boy gets smushed by a big plate window like a Terry Gilliam movie.
Yeah. I liked in this one, my favorite scene was the guy who won the lottery, and he's in his shitty apartment, and he gets his hand stuck in the sink.
Yep.
And there's fire here, and listen, I can't do it justice, but
it's all about misdirect until something that you don't expect.
And also the escalation of like catastrophes keep happening around him.
And that was novel in this one. But like you can't go back to that well again and again. This one also has a character return from the first one, and she says, I know the rules. Here's what we need to do to get through this.
I found this one reasonably pleasurable because I thought it had just enough variation on the story introduced in the first one.
I agree.
It follows the same basic structure beat for beat.
Yes.
But, it's backwards this time.
And it's more gleeful in the way it kills people.
Well, and this is where it gets very Herschel Gordon Lewis, where like it's not enough for somebody to blow up, then their arm has to like fly through the air and land on someone's plate.
I mean, that rules. I love that.
I like that. Or in one of them, I forgot which one it is, where a woman falls out of a building, she lands on the police car.
The fifth one. Her eye pops out.
Her eye pops out, and then you're seeing the eye on the ground, and then a car runs over the eye.
Yeah.
Now that's fun.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think something like the second Final Destination does not linger in pain. And I think that really bothers me in films where they linger in the pain of the characters on screen. So it'll be like in Final Destination 2, someone's going to get their head chopped off because an elevator is like...
Yeah, so I get that. I guess I have mixed feelings about that because I guess I don't love watching pain, but I'm interested in it for that basic human reason of like, what does it look like?
I've seen it.
You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, just a little bit, like in that elevator scene, the woman's like, and then boop, her head pops off.
You know what actually makes me sad in these movies is when like a parent watches their kid get killed, and then you see the parent like screaming and crying after.
I mean,
that feels so real.
It's very funny in the scene where the kid gets smushed to nothing, and then there's a bag with his body in it that the mother is crying over.
Yeah, I was watching it with my partner yesterday, and she said like, "What was there to put in the bag?"
Well, they gotta scoop it up somehow, right?
Yeah.
And to get it out of there. And so like this one though does the one thing that none of them do. Characters survive in it, and they get out of it. They figure out a way in the most basic way of like, how do you escape death? Well, you die, and then you come back to life. And it sticks to it. And the final gag in this one is some character we don't even know. So it doesn't even really matter. It's like a big laugh line.
So what happens in 3?
Okay, so 3 and 4 are kind of sad because it is directors coming back. In the case of 3, it's James Wong, who directed the first one. He went and did the Jet Li film. We all remember the one, right? I am the one!
It's great. It's like, what if The Matrix was bad?
Yeah, not as good.
Yeah.
And so you can feel he's coming head hung low to direct Final Destination 3. It's got none of the juice. The big roller coaster set piece that opens the film where everybody dies is undone by it's all on like green screens, them like screaming and like being so there's no visceral nature to any of it. And like all the gore gags are very mean. Nothing is added to the film other than they took photographs. And like in the photographs, there's kind of the thing that's going to kill them behind them. But like a lot of these movies do, there's no saving anyone. Everybody dies, even at the end when they think they survived. Oh no, we die in another big thing at the end of the movie. Just a bummer. And you can feel James Wong doesn't want to make this movie. There's actually a 90-minute documentary on the Tudis DVD that, of course, I own, that I bought at Rogers Video. And you know how much I care about the documentary is that I had vague memories of it, but clearly my subconscious remembered because in all of my going through my Blu-rays DVD and getting stuff out or putting it in the basement, it was still on the main shelf. So I knew I was like, I know that this one has something on it that I want to watch.
Did you revisit?
I did. It's very sad. Like him and Glenn Morgan, for some reason, when they released their movies, they had 90-minute documentaries on them. Like Willard, the film that the co-writer of this film made, there was such a depressing documentary about Willard, the Crispin Glover movie.
The remake, yeah.
Yeah, where it's like test audiences hate it, and Glenn Morgan, it's kind of like taken out of his hands. And same thing with Final Destination 3. You feel James Wong is like, I just want to get through this. Like, I don't really care about this. I'm just going to think about maybe some of the mechanical things. And it's like a day-by-day thing. So it's like, it rains. Now I have to shoot this. I'm not ready to shoot it. How do I place everybody? So yeah, you never see these kind of docs on like new releases ever. anymore. So if you want to check that out, go look at someone's curve. There's probably a copy of Final Destination 3.
Yeah, Value Village, another good place. Yeah.
And then after 3, which did make a solid amount of money, they went back to the well and got David R. Ellis to do 4. 4 is so lazy. It's made by someone who's like dragging their feet and they're like, I guess I'll make a Final Destination movie.
And 4 is called The Final Destination.
And it is shot in 3D, native 3D. And as I was showing Will before we started recording, it looks awful. It looks like a David Decloux movie.
Well, I enjoy that all these movies have like the median sheen that any like studio movie of the time had.
I didn't mention that the thing I love the most about the third one, it is the most early 2000s film ever. All of the technology, all of the music, everything that people are doing in that film is so grounded in that particular era. And The Final Destination, which is part 4, is grounded in, I don't know, do we do all these gags in CG? Which is what they do. Probably because it was in 3D and they want to be able to control the bits and parts of bodies that are flying. But like, I watched that movie yesterday. I don't even remember any of the characters in it or what happens. It's just generic white people, as far as the eye can see, who get murdered in ways that are not particularly that interesting. There's an okay gag where they're watching a 3D movie and stuff looks like it's going to go wrong, but all that goes wrong is it explodes. Like, you want more stuff in 3D, like, oh, maybe people are being killed around you. And this is the problem with watching a franchise like this, especially one that stays so base, is that I want to play couch screenwriter where I'm like, oh, you should do this, or maybe you should do that.
It would be nice to see them do something just a little
different.
Like expand the lore a little bit.
Give me some more rules of stuff that you can do. Like, do something like that. I was pitching on social media, I'm like, make a movie where there's a guy who like death cannot kill, that he's always one step ahead, and maybe he's trying to help people who he knows are stuck in this situation.
But you know, I said a minute ago that these movies are like porn, but actually they're kind of like Jackie Chan movies in the sense that like they all have a very similar plot, and it's all built around like 5 action scenes, and the action scenes are built around a location. And just as with Jackie Chan, it's like, well, what happens if we do a fight scene at a playground? Here it's like, what if we do a death scene on a bridge? What are all the physical and visual possibilities of this?
But the difference is that in a Jackie Chan fight scene, there's an internal story being told within the context of that fight. Push and pull, little events here or there. And the only story being told in these murder sequences is a build-up to what will be the bad thing that happens.
I mean, the bad thing when it happens can be quite protracted. Yes. So like in the most recent one, when they're at this, it looks like the CN Tower, this like big structure, and the structure like breaks apart and tips over. You know, it's kind of like the Titanic or something.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we get Final Destination 5?
Which came out a few weeks less than 2 years after The Final Destination.
And this one is a return to basics, if you will, where they're like, I think this one was in 3D as well, because I got the sense there were some 3D effects.
It absolutely was in 3D, especially you can tell in the end credits where the end credits...
all the things are flying to where the camera...
It plays to a highlight reel of classic kills from the previous movies with like what look like GIFs superimposed on top of them of like blood splattering.
This movie, you got another cast of generic people, but I will say it does make an effort in having the lightest like they have wants, they have needs. The fourth one, everyone was just standing around being like, am I going to be killed now? Oh, yeah, I'm dead. All right, I'm out of here. Like, there's nothing there. It exists only as a compilation, like best Final Destination kills. 5, there's a little bit more attempt to be done at this stuff, even though it feels like a TV movie. It feels like all the budgets were slashed, and they're like, go back to basics. And by that, I mean, don't spend too much money on any of the things.
I mean, the CGI is terrible, but I don't know. I kind of got a kick out of the bad CGI.
This one was okay, and like,
it's like the CGI is bad, but you're seeing interesting things.
But like the punchlines to this one, as opposed to 4, are pretty visceral. Like, ugh. Like, for example, as we mentioned, there's the eye surgery scene. There's a gymnastic scene that like people really sticks with them. I will say that unlike, everything that came after 2, this one is not about people are in a barber shop and everything is going wrong, and then the person steps outside and a lawnmower sticks a piece of metal in their neck.
Yeah.
It like in part 5, it builds logically from what you're seeing to maybe not what you're expecting, but just a little swerve to the side. And I think it's that much more powerful for it, even though all these characters, I'm like, I don't know who these people are. I don't really care. But the deaths are visceral. Sometimes they come out of nowhere. It does what it needs to do. And 5 makes the right move, is that there's a few asshole characters within the people that are like, these people are pretty sympathetic. So when they die, you're like, yay, woo!
I would say, though, at this point, the plot has gotten less complicated than the first two movies.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of enjoyed, like, the plot itself was a Rube Goldberg contraption in those.
I know. Well, that's after the second one. None of the movies want to play with, like, the structure of it. So, like, the main character in part 5 doesn't even really realize what's going on for an hour.
Yeah, and, you know, you're right when you say, like, at this point, there's no suspense.
You know everyone's going to die at the end of it. And to the point of the ending of this one, people love to bring it up because, spoiler alert for Final Destination 5, it reveals it's a prequel to the first one, and that the big plane crash that happened in the first one, the characters from 5 were on that plane. And I remember hearing that when the movie came out, and I was like, oh, that's funny. I never checked it out. I wasn't interested.
Yeah.
And watching it in this movie, it happened. I'm like, oh, that's funny. And I did not think that you would see them die horribly. And it takes forever for them to die.
Right. The protagonist you spent the whole movie with, your POV character burns alive.
In slow motion as he screams.
Now, I think you had a harder time with this than I did.
I don't like that, yeah.
And I get that. I think at this point I was kind of resigned to like, this is what these movies are, that I was...
I'm still getting fired up watching them. I'm like, you gotta give me more. I expect more from them.
I was just kind of like, this is the point in the series where the last few people die.
Yes. But like, what is the purpose of watching a character die in slow to see the skin burn off his bones?
Not much.
No. It's kind of like, okay.
Death outruns us all.
And then it cuts to like, and you see like scenes from the previous movies.
It doesn't cut to that. It cuts to a whole other coda where there's the office farewell party, basically.
Yeah.
Not actually. It's like a memorial service at a bar.
And then another person dies.
And like,
you know what?
Like a wheel from the plane like falls through the ceiling and kills
like
everyone
that death.
there.
It's funny.
Yeah, I like that
but
too.
It's
funny because it's so sadistic.
Yeah.
It's like we're gonna kill a whole other room full of people.
But it's also incongruous with the like, oh, the skin is burning from my face, and then it's like, whoop, boom, it lands.
All right, people, write in, tell us. Were you bothered with the guy being burned alive?
But here's the thing, it's not for me. It can be for the listener of this that loves the Final Destination series. I am not Roger Ebert saying like, how dare people make this movie? You should write to your cinema. You pull them out of off the screen.
3 stars for Final Destination 1. That's what Roger gave it.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So Final Destination Bloodlines.
Just came hot off the presses.
Yep. This is a movie that made an absurd amount of money for what it is. Like $300+ million worldwide.
Yeah. It's harder than ever to predict what's going to be a hit. And, watching this movie, I wished I had gone to see it in the theater. The next time one of these comes out, and one of them will come out again, I'm going to go see it in the theater so that I can experience the communal joy.
Well, so I just wrote my review. I know you haven't seen it, but my final line is like, Tony Todd, best scene in the movie. He says, you should, and I gave this movie 3.5 stars. He says, you got to live your life at the fullest because, death could come at any moment. And I was like, you know what? He's right. I'm going to enjoy every moment. I don't need to see the next one. These are not for me. And I can, I watch this movie and I'm like, this works. That like the suspense works.
Yeah.
All the characters I like. Now, it's 110 minutes.
No, it's 20 minutes longer than any of the other ones.
Yes.
Which I think is a problem.
Now, but I will say, like, I love the familial kind of it takes moments for you to like all these characters, but it's so fucking fatalistic.
Yeah.
Like any little moment of warmth or, kind of like bonding is then followed up with, then he got crushed by that magnet machine. It's like, all right, everybody dies.
Well, as Mr. Roger Ebert said about Friday the 13th, what a bleak world. This movie tells you that no matter what's happening in your life, you're going to get killed.
And
what's the difference between this and Friday the 13th?
Friday the 13th, the characters don't know they're going to die until the final characters in the film.
Right, because you like those movies.
I do like those movies. Yeah, some of them I do like.
Yeah. You overall like the series more than you like this one.
Yes.
Okay, because I'm the same. And I was trying to figure this out because I think Friday the 13th is not particularly more artful than these movies.
It's way less
In fact,
artful.
it's less artful.
I would say like this.
It's less clever.
This sixth one is very clever. It's made by 2 filmmakers who we all remember from the classic TV show produced by Steven Spielberg, On the Lot. They were contestants on that show.
Oh, they were?
Yeah, they were.
Holy shit.
And when they got eliminated, the 3 people watching were like, they were the best. What's going on? They're being eliminated.
Well, good for them. They're the kings of Hollywood now.
Yep.
I didn't see the Fablemans making $200 million.
Yeah, so they sure showed Mr. Spielberg. I would love to break this movie down in like why it works so well as it does. Like, even that opening scene, like, it's in the past, they're going up in this Space Needle thing, they're having dinner at the top. You get to know these characters right from the get-go. This couple, there's tension there, the woman is pregnant, the guy is going to propose to her, there's a big dance happening. When the big chaos goes off, everyone starts dying, and you see this vision, the woman is active in the situation, that she is doing things, she's trying to save people. Now, do I need to see another human being burned alive in slow motion in a close-up CGI? No. But will I take someone on fire? Yes. So, you know, it's really like, really on fire, like not CGI fire, being like, and I think there's a disconnect there for me.
All right.
Like, I can see that as an effect, while like burning the skin off with CG is, again, the pain issue that I have. And I love the sequence, especially that it takes the time to be like, there's a little shit character that you want to see die. And so, like, it takes the time to be like, oh, here's a bad character, so that when he dies within all this chaos, and he dies in the most cartoony way possible, that a piano lands on him, that I like, that I'm like, sums up. But then the rest of the movie makes the mistake of, there are no asshole characters in any of the cast. So you don't want to see anyone die. And I've been a proponent of, I don't think, like, a big mistake slasher and horror movies make is that you need to dislike these characters so you will take joy in their death. I do not think that is true. I think that you need to have sympathetic characters in horror movies so you are invested in what's happening, even if they do die.
Well, Friday the 13th movies, they give you a mix of both.
Yes, that's what you need. You need the mix.
I keep trying to think about, why do I like those movies more than I like these? And some of it also has to do with, I like Jason more than I like Death.
Yeah, well, Death is nothing, right? Death is the thing with Jason. Even though he never really gets defeated, there is the opportunity to defeat them.
Yeah.
And those movies, like the Jason movies, do not feel, and it's a weird thing to say, death comes from out of nowhere often, and the people are just killed, and you do not revel in it.
And Jason has to work.
Yeah, Jason has to work.
Yeah.
Death is just having fun in these movies.
And yeah, Jason is vulnerable. Like, he doesn't get defeated, but he gets dispatched for a while.
I always think of the Wes Craven Scream films as something Wes Craven really understands, that Ghostface is constantly being beat up in those movies, and that there's always just like a little bit of hope that you can get out of there. But like the Final Destination movies, if they give you any hope, it's just kind of like, ha, why did you think that was going to happen? Now, this movie, I keep saying that it's smart in the way that it's constructed. It does a sequence where you are sure a character will die, and then he's alive in the next scene. That's smart. And all the characters in this film are making choices. They're like, what if we did this? What if we did that? Like, okay, we learned that a character survived because they pretended to be dead. Let me pretend to kill you. I'll bring you back to life. And then, you know, we'll be able to get through it. Then it just kills them very cruelly in a creative way. Like, by the end of the movie, when there's like a character who's like, I'm going to survive as long as I can, and then she just gets killed a second later, I'm like, cool, I don't care. Like, everyone's going to die. And they do by the end of the movie. Like, what is fun in horror movies? If I asked my parents, they'd be like, I don't know what Justin likes. Like, he's just like splatter and weird stuff. And when I watch these movies, I feel like not like my parents, but like, this is not for me. Like, I cannot connect with this because it's too cruel, and it's fatalistic in a way that I do not like my horror movies.
Well, getting back to what I was saying a minute ago about how I'm probably going to go see the next one of these when it's in theaters, it's not because
you want to hear the crowd pop.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, these movies aren't really for me either, for some of the same reasons you said.
Yeah.
But I do like going to the haunted house at the county fair.
Me too.
You know, and that's I think, like, in its limited way, that's what these movies offer.
But when I think of like a haunted house, I think of Evil Dead 2. It's weird to say I don't like the ethos of these films when, like, Sam Raimi, who directed my favorite horror films of all time, his whole thing is innocence will suffer. But the difference between his movies and Final Destination is that it's fun to see Bruce Campbell suffer.
Well, and also, like, Bruce Campbell, like, he can fight back.
He can fight back, yeah. Even if it's an impossible, nightmarish world, he's pretty much going to figure a way out at the end. And even when it's a dark ending, for example, the first Evil Dead, it's kind of open-ended as well.
That's right.
And I was thinking about this. I was thinking, okay, what are my favorite horror films? Do they have fatalistic endings? And they don't. They have dark endings that, like, is there hope around the corner? Is there not? So I'm thinking of Evil Dead. I'm thinking of Dawn of the Dead.
What about
The Thing?
The Shining?
I like The Shining.
It's open-ended.
It is open-ended. So, like, you don't really know what happened. And I think that open-endedness, even the first Final Destination, even though an event is happening, it is open-ended. Not everyone is dead. And I think that makes a difference for me as a viewer of me leaving these movies with like a bitter taste in my mouth.
What about Night of the Living Dead?
I thought about that one as well. Is that one is very grim in the way it's presented, but it's also kind of building up to that. That's what the whole movie is about, in a way that it leaves a pit in your stomach, but not in a way that feels like do you believe what I did there?
Yeah.
You know, and that's the difference of it. Same thing with Day of the Dead. It's like, there's a little bit of hope at the end of the rainbow. So, you know, yeah, I feel like horror movies...
There are a lot of reasons why Night of the Living Dead's better than Final Destination. to be clear.
But yeah, I genuinely thought about this as I was watching them of like, what is it about these endings that like sours me? And this is just my taste. Like I have said before that Japanese horror films have this kind of fatalistic view, but I think it's because these Final Destination films are so concrete that like I look at something like Pulse or Cure, and there's an open-ended to those kind of like chaotic apocalyptic endings.
I mean, these Final Destination movies are pretty simple.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, those ones are like, they give you more to chew on, even though the end of them is basically like, oh, everything's over.
That's right.
But it's not that finality of, like that last one, Bloodlines, that final death of them just being crushed by logs, which is like, hey, remember the second one? Is like, yeah, screw you. Like, come on, you got to give me something new, is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I spent all this time and this is what happens at the end?
But I'm sure it was a fun communal movie-going experience.
I'm sure it was. I feel if I was in the theater, I would have been like cheering and clapping. By the end, I would have been like,
You would have left feeling hungry.
yeah, exactly. Been like, all right, this is it. You know, maybe they're going to change things up. But then again, like,
Why would they?
if it's making money, it's like, I don't want them to like introduce like angels or like who's doing this or any of that. I just want other angles on it. Like, can you escape it some other way? Just do something new. Go to space, I guess.
Can you create a pact with death? Can we play like a chess game with death in
Yes.
some way and reason with it?
Yeah,
For a while.
yeah, I want people.
Because there's no outrunning death, but
No.
can we get out of like this chain of events and die later in our sleep?
That's what the Seventh Seal, if you will, or to use a more modern day example, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Beautiful film. Rifkin's Festival.
Oh man, of course. Sorry, I should have used the one that everybody listening to this would know. So that's our franchise of the year. What are we going to do next year? Who knows?
Leprechaun.
Child's Play.
Child's Play.
And that's an interesting one, is that it has the same creative force throughout all the films, but it's constantly changing itself as it goes.
Because it's getting goofy.
It's getting goofier. It's doing different angles on it. It turns into a TV series with the same creative lead. You're not going to watch a TV series, but I probably will.
Aren't there like two competing Chucky things now?
Well, there was another Chucky remake of like, it wasn't
With
like,
Mark Hamill.
with like a robot Chucky basically,
Yeah.
which I actually enjoyed it, but that was completely disconnected. Is that someone else got the rights and they made another movie. That movie has essentially been forgotten. Like
Yeah.
no one remembers that one came out. So as per usual, you can send us spooky letters
Howoo!
at importantcinemaclubpodcast@gmail.com. Oh, before I forget, this episode is going to drop before I do a spooky screening in Montreal, Canada.
Oh, this is cool. Yeah. So what's happening?
Montreal, Canada, I will be presenting at La Métropolitaine Local Legends, the spookiest movie of them all, the Matt Farley film, as well as the film that I directed, Impossible Horror, starring Will Sloan.
That's right. I'm in it. I have a small role.
Yep.
It's the movie that got me my IMDb page.
You know what? Local Legends and Impossible Horror are thematically linked because they're both about creativity. So that's a good programming double bill.
It's a great double feature. But then also, like the day after, there's a whole Justin Decloux Film Festival happening in Montreal.
The day after, La Métropolitaine will be showing Fantasy Mission Force, the Jackie Chan Chu Ying-ping film, starring Jackie Chan. I'm doing air quotes again.
The movie that Jackie Chan made because he owed obligations to the triads.
Yes. La Métropolitaine, from what I can tell, is a pretty small room. You can get your tickets now. It's going to sell out. It's just going to get them to buy the tickets.
Yeah, but you'll get to meet Justin.
Yeah.
Can I also plug an event?
Of course.
On Thursday, October 9th, I will be in the city of New York on the island of Manhattan showing Plan 9 from Outer Space at Metrograph.
Why would I go see it at Metrograph? I can just watch Plan 9 from Outer Space on YouTube, right?
Well, assuming all goes well, we're showing it on 16mm film.
What? Wow.
Yeah. And I'll sign copies of my book there. If you don't have my book, Ed Wood, Made in Hollywood, USA. So come on out. If you're in New York, you get to meet me.
And on Patreon last week, we forgot to do it. We did what we've been watching.
We talked about Megadoc.
We did talk about
the
Megadog.
Megalopolis documentary. Talked about, other stuff too.
Watchy showed up, the mascot of
Yeah.
the whole segment.
We unveiled a brand new mascot.
No, he had appeared before.
Oh, okay.
You forgot Watchy?
We brought back How Can I Forget Watchy after our last encounter.
Yep. Some people have sent in fan art of him. It's very scary.
Really?
It is something I cannot post on social media.
Canonically, the only thing we know about Watchy is that he has a huge dick.
No, he's very muscular and he's pink. And I believe he's shaped like a VHS tape.
Okay. So
I'm going to have to check the fan art.
let the fan art flow.
Yeah, so you can check that out. And this week on Patreon, we are doing Hard Target.
That's right. Finally, the Jean-Claude Van Damme, John Woo movie.
Did we not talk about it when we did? Have we done
I
Jean-Claude Van Damme episode?
don't care if
We're
we've
going
done it
back
or
to the
not.
well. And in case people forget, it's not just Shocktober. It's also, as Will coined it, Moneyvember.
That's right. It's a Patreon drive. We're getting our...
We're going to get, I think it was something like 200 new Patreon subscribers. I like to say, after we did that episode, there was a jump of like 15, 20 people. Some people even upgraded their Patreon thing. Very much appreciate everybody that did that.
Fantastic.
The people in the Discord were like, it was so nice that he said that we're nice in the Discord. But they are.
They are nice. I love our Discord.
Of all like the communities that I've been in, there is like no negativity in there. And so if you become a Patreon subscriber, patreon.com/The Important Cinema Club, you can listen to all the episodes that we talked about, the whole back catalog, as well as joining the Discord. And, you know, this month I thought as we go every week, let's give a little bonus every week if we will. And we did a video this week.
That's right. A little video content for you. You'll be able to see behind the scenes at Important Cinema Club Studios.
HQ, as well as us trying to figure out new sound effects. If you're wondering, like, how did Justin land on that Phantom of the Opera sound that he did? Well, you just gotta watch the video, which is on the Patreon page.
You'll get to see what happens when the two of us, like, we're in the lab, we're working together. You know?
Yeah, we also figure out a future episode as well.
Yeah, that's exciting.
So you can check that out at patreon.com/The Important Cinema Club. And I think that like other Patreon drive, I'll probably just take it off after the end of the month. You gotta give them the FOMO that they gotta subscribe now. Now
they subscribe now, or else they'll miss the video.
They'll miss the video.
Okay,
yes.
got it.
So that's patreon.com/The Important Cinema Club. Join in for Moneyvember. Send Justin's kid to daycare. And that's not a joke. All right. So as per usual, letters. I know I already said that part, but
yeah, right. Letters. People write to us. You know,
sacks and sacks of letters.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, we never had a letters theme song, have we? Don't start. It just I have flashbacks of like the Flophouse of me hitting 10 seconds forward as a particular host sings our letter song.
Yeah. So who wrote to us this week?
Our first letter is from Athan, and he says
Athan.
Yep, he actually spells it out AY and then -THIN.
Okay.
Athan? That sounds about right.
Sounds good.
I've been listening for about 4 years and have to say your podcast has legitimately changed my life. I went from an unsure high schooler during quarantine to now being in my third year as a film studies student. If it wasn't for ICC, I definitely wouldn't have done one of my first papers on Yu Wo Ping. My question is about burnout as it pertains to cinephilia. What do you guys do about hitting a wall, whether that be a genre, national cinema, or movies in general? Before I answer that question, wild. 4 years, we've changed his life.
Can I just say, I have to tell myself when I first went to Justin's apartment almost 10 years ago to record this.
We were not friends when I asked him to do a podcast. We were acquaintances.
No, we were getting to be friends.
We were getting to be friends.
We were hanging out.
Yep.
Yeah, we definitely solidified the friendship with this. But I definitely did not expect that I'd be getting letters saying that we changed someone's life. So that's pretty exciting. I feel like Forrest Gump when he's jogging and he's got all the people jogging behind him.
Yeah, but I should turn around and have like a itemized bill. Listen, how much change did we bring to your life?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You third-year college student, you pay up.
Third-year film studies. I don't know. I'm not gonna ask too much money from them.
No. I could squeeze them for all they're worth.
Yeah.
I hope it's going well. I also hope you don't have too many student loans.
So what I've been thinking about was cinephile burnout as of late. I think I was talking.
You literally asked me on last week's Patreon. You said, "Do you still like movies?"
Yeah, I was talking to Justin about this. Really, I've just been like following my heart more than anything. It's like sometimes you have a pile of things that you want to watch stacked up, and you think, "Oh, I really want to watch this. I should watch this. I've been meaning to watch this." Go with your heart.
Yes.
Follow what you really, and that could be watching a movie you've already watched before. But that's what's calling you at that moment.
Yeah, I think that like that is a great way to go about it, but don't like go down that path too much of liking the things that you recognize, and that's why you're consuming them. Well, you'll get tired of it.
And that's true, and you shouldn't just like fall into your old interests or just limit yourself to your old interests.
You got to challenge yourself a little bit, but not all the time.
Yeah, but also like challenging myself, like sometimes that is actually what my heart wants, you know?
And also challenge yourself in ways that it's stuff that you want to see, but do not feel you need to see from some social pressure that doesn't exist.
That's right.
Of like, I need to see the new movie. No one cares if you saw the new movie. Like, they genuinely don't.
That's right.
But like if you have something on your shelf that you're like, oh, I want to see that. Is it too challenging? If it's like a good movie, this is a funny thing of like when we watch movies. Most of the movies we pull off the shelf, we know if it'll be good or not. Like like a little bit, right? Like deep down inside.
Well,
like, you
I
know
mean,
the general thing.
And also at this point in our lives, I think we have a general sense of like what
Our taste,
our
yeah.
tastes. Yeah.
But like we're constantly challenging ourselves, or sorry, torturing ourselves when we're like, "This is not good."
Yeah.
I couldn't have seen this coming. But like you have great films either in your watch list or on your shelf that like pick them up. You may not watch them because you're like, but everyone's like, what is there? It's because it's good. It'll make you feel good, or it'll challenge you, and all that other stuff. It's kind of that classic. I think you said this 100 episodes ago. It's like, I watched a John Ford film. It's great.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that's absolutely right.
And I think that we sometimes take that for granted. And so, like, to avoid burnout, I would say watch some classics that you haven't seen. Also, watch some movies that you love. And I think that'll get you, like, even like just. Remind you why you love movies in the first place.
Watch good movies.
Yeah, just watch good movies.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Movies that you think you're good. Because, like, what are some that you went to when you checked them out? Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, of course.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I just this last week, as an example, I was looking for a particular tone, and I decided to watch Michelangelo Antonioni's The Passenger, which is not a movie. I mean, I've seen it before. I didn't desperately need to see it again, but I felt like for my mood right now, I would really like to watch this. And I felt like I had a whole new experience with that movie.
I mean, that's a good one. Like, that's a classic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's canonical.
You saw it, and it made you feel something that, and I think
It made me feel something new as well on this
yeah,
viewing.
like you sometimes look at movies and you're like, I know what this is, but it's like, sit down, give it your attention. You are not the same person who saw it last, unless you watch it like yesterday.
That's exactly how I felt on this viewing. Yeah.
So thank you very much for your letter, and I hope your film studies program goes very well. Next letter is from Jeremy, and he goes, essential elements of a coming-of-age film.
Jeremy, did we change your life too? That should be a minimum barrier to entry.
We don't need people to send us that. Hey, Justin and Rill. Recently, I watched Crooklyn, and when I went to check out what people were saying about it on Letterboxd, I saw one of the top reviews mention that it was a criminally underrated coming-of-age film, and reading that made me pause for a second. Because while I know that it makes sense to call Crooklyn a coming-of-age film, there's something about it that doesn't essentially feel coming-of-age to me. It just felt like a drama starring kids. Am I being too literal with the name coming of age? Or would you say there needs to be a moment when the kid loses their innocence? What does that even mean? And of course, can you really have a coming of age movie if there's a shred of doubt that all the kids wind up dead in Vietnam? As always, thanks for the podcast. I want to recommend the fantastic Iranian movie from the 60s called The Brick in the Mirror.
Oh, I'll look that up.
Never seen that.
Thank you.
I want to take a step back, though, and say, like, you can't have a criminally underrated Spike Lee movie. You're just not allowed. Like, let me look how many people have reviewed Crooklyn online.
Well,
like,
I don't know, like Girl 6, She Hate Me.
It's
like
bad.
Somebody can make the argument that those are criminally underrated.
I mean, they could.
They could.
Would I?
I've never seen Girl 6.
Did I see it for Spike Lee? I think we did. I think I did at the time.
I know you were filling in some blind spots. But Crooklyn, so I haven't seen it in a while,
Yeah.
but I think that is a coming of age movie because he does, like, the kid in that movie goes off to live with, like, his aunt or something.
And then
like,
Spike Lee changes the aspect ratio, and you're like, what was he thinking?
I know, legendary. But, like, the kid goes through a process of maturation in that, which I think fits the rubric.
Like, can you have a drama with kids that would not be qualified as coming of age? That's interesting, right?
You definitely could, I think. The Florida Project is not a coming of age movie.
Or you don't consider it a coming of age film because they kind of reach a point and they have to deal with the reality that at the beginning of the movie they weren't dealing with before.
Okay, maybe it is.
Yeah,
I don't know.
so, like,
There's got to be. Okay, what about Ponyo, the Miyazaki movie?
Oh,
I know it's
seen
a
it long
cartoon,
enough,
but
yes.
like that's really a movie about kids. I think is My Neighbor Totoro a coming of age movie?
Absolutely, it's dealing with death and
You're
like
right.
the oncoming.
This is a good question. A movie with kids that's not a coming of age.
And
movie.
I was thinking about it. I'm like, is Explorers, the Joe Dante film, a coming of age film? And it is, because basically the thesis of that film is all the wondrous things out in the universe. It could just be a bunch of sucky kids.
I mean, the thing about drama is it requires you from point A to point B.
You have to learn something. When you're a kid, the elements would be things that you have never interacted with.
Yeah.
And so you're being introduced to new things and learning lessons as you go. You know, people bring it up on the Discord. What are some kids' dramas that are not coming of it? Because, you know, there's kid comedies that are not coming. I mean, does Frankie Muniz learn an important lesson in the classic Big Fat Liar when he turns Paul Giamatti blue?
Agent Cody Banks probably isn't a coming of age movie per se, or is it? I've never seen it.
We got to do a Frankie Muniz marathon. I've never seen Big Fat Liar. I've never seen Agent Cody Banks 1 or 2. Let's throw in...
Is there another one?
There's Big Fat Liar 2.
Which he's not in.
He's not in. But you need to finish the Big Fat Liar story.
That's so true, man.
Oh, man. Why have I never thought about
Oh, wait,
this?
Home Alone. Is that a coming-of-age movie?
Yes, because he learns that his neighbor is not as scary as he really is, and that he can take care of himself at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're right.
Or actually, the lesson in Home Alone is more like he learns he can't take care of himself. That he thinks he can live on his own, but he can't.
Right.
Or
so
can he?
Is the Wizard of Oz a coming-of-age movie then?
Absolutely.
But she decides that there's no place like home.
Yes, but that's a realization she makes.
Okay.
So you're coming of age that you're, as we said about the Wizard of Oz movie, home sucks. Don't go back home.
Yeah,
We've
who
seen
wants
nothing.
who wants to be in Kansas?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Check the Discord. I'm sure there's examples out there, and I would love to hear them. Our next letter is very short. Why no Cube? From Benjamin. Great show. Love it. Why no Cube series video? Cube, Cube 2, Hypercube, and Cube 0. All Canadian, all good. Love from China, Ben.
Cube. Well, we did a Michael and Us episode on Cube.
You did?
Like 5 years ago.
Why?
I can't remember. It might have been a Patron's Choice episode. They might have voted on it.
I like Cube.
I like Cube.
I feel like I saw a lot of Cube when I was a teenager. Kind of tired of Cube.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've never seen any of the sequels.
I have. Cube 2 Hypercube, which was shot by the cinematographer of Cube 1, and then Cube 0, which was directed by a guy who went on to make a bunch of bad Jean-Claude Van Damme films like Pound of Flesh. Yes, I have this information in my head, and I can't get it out!
I mean, Cube's a really fun movie. It's very clever, very resourceful.
Terrible
you know?
performances, like the main people in it.
Yeah, but, I
kinda like it.
find that charming.
It's the one movie they point at when it's Norman Jewison School, the Canadian Film Institute, I think.
Oh, he went to there and he...
It was part of that program, I believe, that they built it within the resources that were presented there. They're like, look, they made Cube. And it's like, that was made 25 years ago. What are some other ones that have been made since then?
So sort of like how the American Film Institute is still dining off Eraserhead all these years
still
later.
are?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, you got to make some new movies, guys. You can't just rest on your laurels. That could be a Halloween series at one point.
Cube, that's
The
a
problem is
franchise.
There's one good movie and then two other ones.
Yeah.
In our personal opinion.
Yeah.
We'll get to it eventually. As we said, we are going to cover the entirety of all cinema that has ever existed.
That's right.
So next week, what are we doing, Will? Listen, we gave people what they wanted.
Boy, now is this a topic?
Yeah. Final Destination. People are clicking. They're like, I know Final Destination. Yeah.
We're talking about the worst director ever.
Is he the worst director ever?
I mean, no, probably not, but we're getting down there.
He is a director.
We're near the bottom of that barrel.
You know what? I think there is a good argument for the worst director ever because he has no fans.
And this is amazing. This is a guy who was making like horror sci-fi movies
With amazing titles.
in the 50s and 60s.
Yes.
Drive-in stuff, an era that people are nostalgic for. Nobody's written a book on him.
No, nobody.
Nobody likes him.
No.
Everybody
If you
brings
look
him-
on Letterboxd reviews, you'll see 1.5 stars of people being like, man, I thought that like a broken clock would be right twice a day, but Jerry Warren has proven that is not the case.
That's right. Jerry Warren, one of the worst directors of all time. Or is he?
Are we going to do a reclamation? Will the episode be a classic? Like, listen, I hope that we would be able to give Warren his laurels, but we're not going to be doing that here.
Well, if you've heard of Jerry Warren...
MST3K?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
because of The Wild World of Batwoman, which is a Mystery Science Theater classic and is very, very bad.
But that is not one of his films.
No, he directed that one.
He co-directed it. Didn't he get Mexican footage and shot 20 minutes?
Oh, no.
Okay.
That Wild World of Batwoman is a full-on Jerry Warren adventure.
Are you sure about that?
I am 100% positive.
Okay, because during that period, he was taking Mexican films and adding new footage to them.
I know, and that's how he got started. So I don't know about Teenage Zombies. I don't know about The Incredible Petrified World. Some of these ones,
Those are original ones.
those are original ones.
Yeah, but I know that.
What about Attack of the Mayan Mummy? That looks like
that's definitely we took Mexican footage, and if you look, there's a co-director like Rafael Portillo and Jerry Warren. Here's what I'll say: let's not touch any of the Mexican ones.
so
that he
just
re-edited.
pure Warren.
Yeah, pure uncut Warren.
So why are we talking about Jerry Warren?
I'm asking you this, Will. Why are we talking about Jerry Warren?
Okay, I pitched this subject, and
I had a big smile on my
and
face when you said it.
And just yesterday, you were DMing me like, "Oh, I'm rubbing my hands together at Jerry Warren." And
I already pitched you the title of the episode, which is Jerry Warren, the most boring horror director in the world.
I don't know why. I don't know why I want to do this. Actually, I'll tell you really why I want to do this. After The Wild World of Batwoman, he retired for 15 years, during which time he apparently never watched a movie. And then he heard that independent horror movies were doing well again, so he made Frankenstein Island in like 1980. Had never seen a movie in 15 years. How do you not love that guy?
I mean, I think I messaged you that because I looked at an old review I wrote in 2020 when my mental state was as good as it could be for the movie Man Beast from 1956. The longest 62 minutes you'll ever spend watching people climb a mountain as a shaggy excuse of a Yeti watches from afar. Glorious stuff.
Okay, I can't wait. So what are we going to watch? We're going to watch Frankenstein Island,
Yes.
his comeback film.
I mean, these films are only an hour long, right?
Teenage zombies.
Yeah.
Wild World of Batwoman. It's not really a horror film.
Listen, am I going to watch The Incredible Petrified World? Yes. That's the one where they go underwater. I mean, I just want to hang out with my good friend John Carradine.
We're gonna be seeing
lot of
Sean
John
Carradine. Yeah. Okay. So, guys, Jerry Warren, it's time for the reclamation again.
I kept my eyes out when I would look at 60mm prints. I would love to do a Jerry Warren movie.
Jerry Warren.
Love to do a Jerry Warren.
Jerry Warren is cinema.
Sam Newfield is like Brian De Palma compared to Jerry Warren.
And all I can say is if you don't understand that Jerry Warren is cinema, I can't help you. It's like it's not something I can explain. I just feel it. In
Jerry
my
Warren
bones.
is the movies you show to torture people.
So I think it's gonna be fun.
All right. If anybody has a 60mm print of one of these films, let me know too.
Yeah.
I would love to put this out. Oh God, Teenage Zombie is 73 minutes long.
73 whole minutes. All right. Everybody bone up, study up.
Yep.
We're going to class.
We're going to talk Jerry Warren next week. Yeah, that'd be really funny if that's a class project everybody does. They start watching Jerry Warren movies. So until then, my name's Justin Decloux.
I'm Will Sloan.
Thanks for listening. Just a quick reminder that on October 11th, that's the Saturday that's coming up from the posting of this episode, I will be hosting my annual 24-hour horror movie Mind Melter. It will be 15 plus films of all sorts from around the world. It'll be fun, it'll be scary, it'll be filled with things you've never seen. Check it out, October 11th, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and then it goes on for 24 plus hours. And you can find the website where I'll be streaming that, secretcinematech.com. Again, that is www.secretcinematech.com for the 24-hour horror movie Mind Melter. And if you would like a little bit of a treat, tune in to my social medias this week because probably twice I will be showing some little previews, some best ofs of horror movie Mind Melters of years past during some of the evenings leading up to Saturday, including Friday, where I do my usual, these films are pretty good, but I don't feel like they made the cut. As per usual, I would like to thank some of our new patrons who include Finton McGrath, a good boy, Even Karras, Daryl Riley, Caleb Cunningham, Michael and Adrian Gower. Whoa, 2 people on 1 Patreon account. Hunter Sawyer, initials JD, Tia Sized, Marty G, XX Trevor, Christopher Brown. Hey, I know that guy. Joe Gallagher, Alex Helms, Bongo Fury, Canuck, Anthony Wayne Bauer, Eric Rivière, Jordan Yule. Thanks for getting a $10 Patreon membership, Jordan. Kenny McHaney, Massache, Alexandre Fontaine-Rousseau, Leaves on the Line, Charlie Richards, G.A. Shockey, Alexander Ross, and Kevin McCandless. Thank you very much for becoming patrons. We would not keep doing this without you. I have never felt older than when I'm online and I see, wait a minute, there's a new film that came out today by one of my favorite filmmakers, and I didn't even know it was coming out because there's a new Shane Black movie that just dropped on streaming today.
Oh, interesting. That's okay. That's not the director I thought you were going to go with.
Who did you think I was going with?
Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh, I was going to say, well, I knew one battle after another. I've been following that with, is it a Thomas Pynchon adaptation? Is it not? So I've been following that with great attention.
But as for Shane Black, I am learning for the first time from you right now that there's a new Shane Black
Are we
movie.
just out of the loop? What is going on
No,
here?
we're not out of the loop.
We don't care.
I haven't heard anybody say anything about this.
No, me neither.
Listeners, write and tell us, have you heard anyone say anything about this?
I know who did. You. Because I believe when Shane Black came up, you mentioned that he was doing a Mark Wahlberg film.
Oh, because we did an episode on him like 6 months ago.
Yes, and it's the Parker adaptation that he did.
Where is it?
Amazon.
Okay.
It's just a streaming movie. It's just on
Have
there.
you watched it yet?
I have not, because I literally learned about it 5 minutes before you arrived.
Okay.
And I was like, wait, what? Like, I still get that feeling sometimes when I go to the movies and I'm sitting in the trailers and I was like, I don't know what this trailer is. And is that a good feeling? I have to say yes.
Well, first of all, movies have become different. Back in the day, you'd have newspapers, you'd have TV ads,
Yep.
and that's how you'd find out about movies. Maybe, if you were really savvy, you'd have ain'titcoolnews.com.
Okay, so this is the thing, is that when we were teenagers, I knew every single movie that was coming out.
Well, absolutely, because you check your newspaper on the weekends, and
or Ain't It Cool News.
Or Ain't It Cool News.
Yeah. But I mean like in production, like coming out. I would know about
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Well, and also there were things like, well, for me, I used to love the Entertainment Weekly summer movie preview. So I'd just pour over that. And it's like, I knew, every weekend what's coming out for the next 4 months.
And, I think I don't know this information anymore because there aren't those websites. Like, I'm not visiting chud.com or Ain't It Cool News. And the websites that do that have so much information I do not care about in the slightest. Like, I remember being at Steve Kostansky's house years ago, and he opened up his browser, and the main page was comingsoon.net. And I'm like, you look at Coming Soon every day? It's like 1,000 articles about, like, maybe a Batman movie's coming out in 2027. It's like, I don't care.
There's so much more news like that.
Yes. I think that the issue and why I don't care is why do we like Ain't It Cool News and why do we like, or whatever other website, is that there were personalities there. Maybe if you didn't like them,
who doesn't love Harry Knowles?
Like Moriarty, for example.
Oh, sure.
Drew McWeeny. I love following his stuff. Or Vern was on Ain't It Cool News. Who writes for ComingSoon.net?
I don't know.
Nobody. Like, it doesn't matter.
Some clickbait wage slave.
Yeah, who's paid like $2 an hour. Whoa, $2 an hour. That's a little too
a lot
much.
Of money. Yeah.
To post all of these articles.
$2 a post.
And I think that when there's so much stuff, a lot of it that's just vaporware, that like I don't care at the end of the day.
Well, also, I think the movies have changed a little bit. Not to sound like Peter Bogdanovich and say the old times were golden, but you don't care about like Super Mario Brothers, the cartoon movie 2. You're not following
Super Mario
that.
Galaxy, if you will.
Is that what it's going to be?
I think it's Super Mario World. 2. I know it's Galaxy. Yeah, there's a subtitle Galaxy.
Okay.
So I do know that. So I know some things.
But there are a lot of things you don't care about.
Yeah, and I think maybe because I have curated my social media feed that I see almost no movie news at all.
You've muted words like Marvel.
Yes,
Yeah.
and DC and Star Wars. And,
and at.
And you know what? It's great because I don't have to see all this stuff. But I think it also shows that like even the friends that I have are not excited like, hey, look, a new Shane Black movie's coming out because they probably don't know it's out either.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, a lot of that's also like these streaming companies, they bury things in their algorithms.
Because if they don't make any money, then did they really lose any money?
I mean, I definitely know that Happy Gilmore 2 came out.
Yes.
I heard a deafening drumbeat around that.
But I believe I learned that Happy Gilmore was dropping like a week before it dropped.
Yeah.
Like I know it was being made, but I only like learned of the date. And I think that's how they like to do it. They like the immediate like, here you go. Here's the movie.
Well, you may have heard that another of your favorite directors, another really important auteur, has a new movie coming out.
Uwe Boll?
No, I shared this information with you earlier this week. Not Paul Thomas Anderson, Fred Olin Ray.
Oh, yeah, there's a new Christmas movie coming out.
Yeah, so I saw him post on Facebook the poster for, hang on, let me get the title here, A Royal Christmas Tale. It's got...
but wait. Tale is spelled Tail.
That's right. That's right, because it's a cat. And on the poster it says, sometimes the key to love has paws. Which is not even a joke.
That's not even like a misnomer. It's not anything.
So I'm excited for that. And this gets me so excited because, like, look, we weren't really alive for when Stanley Kubrick's movies were coming out.
Yeah.
Like, there were so many great directors. We didn't get to be in the original audience for 2001: A Space Odyssey or something like that, or Chimes at Midnight or something. But here we are. You know, a new Fred Olin Ray movie is coming out like next month.
Now, I would be excited if there was a withered star from the 60s that Fred Olin Ray had. Are you looking right now to see it?
Okay, A Royal Christmas Tale. Because as we learned from Fred Olin Ray's book, How to Write the Perfect Christmas TV
who
Movie.
is the Chevy Chase in this?
Almost all of his movies, there's a role written in for a celebrity.
Yeah, that's going to show up for one day.
So I'm looking at the cast for A Royal Christmas Tale, and I'm looking... Who here looks old? So the cat or the dog is it? No, it's a cat. Gizmo Nolan. That's what that's called. So
I mean, what are the roles has Gizmo Nolan had? Wait. Well, how will this compare to Dognap, Hound for the Holidays?
is that
is also a Fred Olin Ray joint.
Let me see what David Dakota's up to because
he's still making Christmas movies. I look after you sent me this link. I went right to David Dakota to see what he was up to.
You know, it's crazy. I love David Dakota, but I'm not like following his every move.
No, and I was surprised. For some reason in my head, I was like, did David Dakota just stop making movies for a while? Are they doing something else?
No, he's making more movies than ever, it looks like.
If anything, and I'd be curious, though. Is he following his muse like he was when he was making those Tidy Whitey films?
Probably not. I mean, there's a lot of those like Vivica A. Fox movies.
He became pals with Vivica A. Fox, and he did a lot of those.
The Wrong Obsession came out this year. That's a Vivica joint.
Yeah, The Wrong Marriage.
A lot of movies called The Wrong Something.
Have you ever seen Stalked by My Doctor? Someone recommended that for a marathon. I've never seen one of those movies.
God. So About a year ago, I watched the first half of Stalked by My Doctor.
Yeah.
I fell asleep. I haven't got back to it, but
Okay.
I was enjoying it.
Okay, so Eric Roberts, he brings it.
Eric Roberts brings it.
Okay, so more to
We should do
discover.
Stalked by My Doctor at some point. I think it'd be fun.
Just as an episode, Stalked by My Doctor. This is how Moneyvember works.
Moneyvember.
Yeah, Stalked by My Doctor. All right, let's talk about something a little bit more serious. Farrell and Ray and other people of his ilk. Do we just let them use AI? We're just like, listen, they're old. You've railed about this, about the communities that you're in.
Well, I do hate this when you go on Facebook now, everywhere. And, the old, like, boomer Facebook groups that I like.
Yeah. So Fred Allen.
I just
Fan
want
group.
I just want to have fun
Or the Fred Allen fanatics, if you will.
I want to have fun in the International Jack Benny fan club group.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to share Jack Benny news. I don't want to see an AI picture of Jack Benny holding an iPhone. That's
Are
so
people
lame.
commenting like, oh, amazing. Wow, I never knew this happened.
Oh yeah, they love it. They love it. The boomers love this shit.
So is this maybe like not for you? Do you need to splinter off like other left-wing groups and create your own non-AI Jack Benny fan club?
I don't know if I can do that.
A question. How is it in the Sammy Petrillo group?
Oh,
Is it infected by AI?
I haven't seen any AI in there.
That would. I feel like
the Sammy Petrillo group is the best
Drew
one.
Friedman. I don't think he'd put up with that, right?
I don't think so. He's an artist.
Yeah, he's anti-AI.
He's got to be.
But like Jim Wynorski, he's an old man.
Well-
You just let him do what he wants.
Well,
like,
Fred Olin Ray on his Facebook is always posting like, this is fucking garbage.
But like at that point, am I like, why take what little joy this provides to them? Like, don't take it away.
I
right?
agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
But all those anonymous people in the fan groups, get the fuck out of there. I don't want to see any of that shit.
That's right.
Most of the groups I'm in, they'll be like, no AI, just don't do it. Like, we don't want to see it. But because a lot of the groups you hang in are the 65 plus crowd,
I mean,
don't have those
yeah,
compunctions.
you know who loves AI? People under 20,
Yeah.
people over 60. They love
That's
it.
who it is.
And then lots of people in between too.
You see it though, that people are like, oh, I'm getting everything that I want. Why don't I feel better?
Yeah.
And it's like, but if you're over 65, let's be honest, over 75, let your twilight years.
What matters is Fred Olin Ray is still delivering great art, like as a director,
Yeah, and if he's inspired by that, why get between that? Everybody else, knock it off though.